This red brick building in the town of Mbala is called the Tanganyika Victoria Memorial Institute, the TVMI. And this institute might have the oldest library in Zambia, but let me explain. The Tanganyika Victoria Memorial Institute was established in 1902 as a result of a meeting of 28 residents of the town of Mbala, then known as the town of Abercone. The residents decided that the memorial should be set up in the form of an institute in honor of their Queen Victoria of England, who had died on the 22nd of January 1901. The name Tanganyika was incorporated because the area was originally known as Tanganyika Province of North Eastern Rhodesia. So a building comprising of a lecture hall, a library, and a form of a cultural center to be built on a half-acre Freefort site in Abercone, and was presented to the committee in perpetuity by the British South African Company, the BSA, with the Old Flotilla Company. The Tanganyika Concessions and the African Lakes Company also helped in providing transport for the building materials from South Africa via Lake Nyasa. The original structure of TVMI was built in 1904, and 1,000 books from the Tanganyika Book Club were handed over to the TVMI to start a library. The Tanganyika Victoria Memorial Institute was a recreational center, also used as a museum. By 1906, only 10 members remained out of the 28 original founders of the institute. And in order to provide continuity of direction, an ordinance was erected, appointing a government trustee for the land and building, who was, in practice, the local district commissioner. In 1914, during the First World War, all the contents of the institute were all packed and stored, and the building was taken over by the military. Inside the library, there's a propeller which is stored which came from the SS Good News, which was the first steamship launched on the Lake Tanganyika on the 3rd of March 1885, and the ship sank after it was attacked during the First World War of 1914. And after the war, the TVMI was still the recreational center for the residents of Abercone. But it was destroyed and damaged by fire in 1949 as the newspapers report of the demolition of the 45-year-old building on Abercone's Main Street in the preparation for the erection of a new hall on the same site and the commencement of the construction of this building in 1950 and completed in 1952. The major funding for the structure came from the Gamwell sisters, Marian and Hope Gamwell, who both served during the First World War as nurses in the First Aid Nursing Yeomanry for their nation of Britain. They ran a farm in what was then known as the Northern Rhodesia. They returned to the battlefield to fight for Britain in the Second World War, and after the war, the sisters returned to Abercone. The building was constructed by Mr. Jobling, and now the library had about 5,200 books, as theatre and plays were held at this location. And after the independence of the country from British colonialism in 1964, the controlled territory of Northern Rhodesia will now be known as the independent country of Zambia. This building, this library, will now be accessed by the local Zambians, who are not allowed or permitted to access the building during the segregative period in the colonial times. Located on the main street of Mbala, today the Tanganyika Victoria Memorial Institute still houses a library, which is open from Monday to Saturday. So if you're ever in the northern province of Zambia, in the town of Mbala, you can visit this historic landmark of the town. And which one do you think is the oldest library in Zambia?